righty. All right, we are live. No, I can't open the screen much because then I won't be able to see our comments. So, all right, well, we are live, and I do hope that it is working on the YouTube side. So, hopefully, got a couple of people that could tell me if it's working. Waiting on the text. We just gonna have to edit this little piece out when I push this to my podcast. Yeah, cause and let me tell my girlfriends they have to go to my actual go to my page and click the live from there. Okay. All righty. Let's see. 1 second. All right, we're gonna get started in a minute. I know we're having technical difficulties with StreamYard. So 1 second.
Dr. L said he sees us.
Oh, he can see us? Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Dr. L. Yeah, I don't know what happened with StreamYard. I tell you, it's been pain in the booty. Okay.
Check it out, Dr. L. Got a new one for you.
Oh, wait. You know what? We're going to talk about this Star Wars thing because I got a question. Somebody told me to ask you a question about, Star Wars. Oh, yeah. And she said, okay. So there are people waiting on the live, right? The link that I posted. For some reason, I apologize that link is not working. So you're going to, those who are here, thank you. I'm glad you found it. But the link, if you follow me on Instagram, the link that I posted or the link that I shared, unfortunately, is not going to work. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, hey, Ebony, Dr. L, NYC Chocolate. Y'all, thank you for joining. So today is a little different show. We usually do like some type of debate conversation that I have either with like an educational conversation with either Coach Marshawn or Dr. L. But tonight, y'all, I want to talk about, because I'm doing a dating series, right? And I want to talk to somebody who's single, searching, looking for love. And let me just throw out here, if you are a woman and you would like to be highlighted, because I do want to feature women and, sexy women, beautiful women, sexy, handsome men such as Lamar, right, on the show, so that we can get people connected. We might meet, you might, Lamar, tonight, you might meet the love of your life tonight. Like, you might. Okay, so Mimi said my face is, I hope that's a good thing, Mimi. My face is glowing. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Okay, I'm first of all, I just got from the gym and I'm sweating and I'm hot. Okay, so y'all might have to see me wiping some of my sweat. But anyway, so tonight, y'all, we got Lamar on here. Lamar is and I asked him to join this series right here because I said, oh, Lamar is very handsome. Handsome man, right? 50, I think, what did you tell me? You're like 52, 53?
I'll be 53 in 12 days.
Okay, well, happy birthday. Happy upcoming birthday. So Lamar's out here dating. Lamar's single. And we want to feature single, sexy folks. So if you are single, again, email me and I'll put it in the description below, right? The other one had my email up there, the other link. It ain't on here now, but it will be once I put, once we finish this show. Okay, Ebony says salt and pepper. We like a salt and pepper beer, don't we? So, Lamar, I want to give you an opportunity for you to introduce yourself. I don't want to just say you 53 or 52, almost 53 and fine, but you go ahead and introduce yourself, hon.
My name is Lamar Hall. I'll be almost 53 years old, born in Louisville, Kentucky, married. My mom remarried, and we moved to Houston when I was 15. I graduated. I played basketball at Prairie View A&M. I graduated in 2004 from Prairie View. My professional career over the last 20 years, I've been in the retail business. I was a buyer. My last position, I was the vice president of a retailer out of Memphis, and I'm currently the account manager for New Balance, their lifestyle division. I cover like 14 states and stuff. So I was married for 22 years. We were together for 25. I have a daughter that's 26. I am the oldest of 4 siblings between both of my parents remarrying. Love pets, love sports. I'm a big Star Wars nerd. So I love to work out, try to live right.
Okay. Good evening, Rhonda, Yolanda. Carl, good evening. And Mimi, thank you, thank you. Okay, so first up, what kind of pets? What kind of pets you like? I'm just
You know
curious.
what? I traditionally dogs, but I had
Okay.
a cat sit for somebody. Always growing up, being black, you kind of don't. Black people don't really mess with cats too much. But over the last couple of years, I was like, cats are interesting, but I don't think I would ever get one. But they were interesting, so I do. I like animals.
Okay. Yeah, I love dogs. I got a big dog around here somewhere, but I do love dogs. Okay. And so just because, like, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna have to ask this question. I'm gonna have to ask it. You're 52, almost 53. How tall are you?
6'6".
6'6". Six. Okay, 6'6".
Yeah,
What size
six.
shoe you? What size shoe you wear? I'm gonna
12,
ask that too.
12, 195. Like I said, I play college basketball.
Okay, size 12. Okay, we got to get the basics down. We out here looking for love, right? These are questions that I look. I haven't been on a dating app in a very long time, but I know that on dating apps, that women will look at the height. And I know I'm telling the truth. They will look at the height and they will filter on the height, unfortunately. So you are 6'6". Okay, ladies, maybe I should put that as a banner just so just in case people come in and out, they can see that Lamar is very handsome, got a nice full beard, okay, and he's 6'6". He likes dogs. Ebony, she want to know, you like small dogs or big dogs?
I want a big dog. So my last dog was a Boston Terrier. I had him for 15 years, and unfortunately, he had cancer, so we had to put him down in 2019. So I just haven't been able to think about having another dog just yet because that dog just kind of meant so much to me. So, but in a couple of years, I'll give it a couple more years. But I think I do want to. I want a cane corso.
Oh, those are huge.
And
Those are huge.
I'm
And
6'6". I'm
you're
I'm I'm
right.
I'm about to buy me a pickup truck, and I want my dog to hop up into my pickup truck. And
Okay, I ain't mad at it. Cane Corsos, they are some very loyal dogs, right? Very, they can be also possessive. So
right.
we ain't gonna visit Lamar at his house. Them damn dogs don't play. Okay. So you know what? I want to ask a couple of questions, ladies and men, right? If you are out here dating, well, not that you are looking to hook up with Lamar. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm just saying, if you have questions about dating, period, because I'm pretty sure there's some single women in the chat. Some Ebony, don't tell us that you just got married, you a fiance. We don't want to hear that. No, not a fiance. You a newlywed. We don't want to hear that you say all the time. I just got married. I just got married. You can only say that, but it's a wrap. You done said it for at least 5-6 weeks now. You've been married at least 2 months now. So move on. Anyways, so if you guys have any ladies, men, y'all have questions or comments about today's dating, maybe we're gonna make a love connection today. Okay, so I do have a couple of questions, and I'm wondering this:
Okay.
because you are a very handsome man and you're tall, do you get approached by women out in public?
Very rarely. Very rarely. The misconception is, and thank you for saying I'm attractive. I was an ugly duckling as a kid. Being tall. I was 175 pounds. I was 32 years old. So, so women don't approach men. They just don't. Like even on online dating, I might get one or two likes a day. It's not that way. It's tough for men. It really is. So it's I was on a date one time and I mistakenly I was kind of feeling myself. I said, man, I got like 44 chicks trying to talk to me, and she looked at me. She looked at me and leaned back and said and pulled out her phone. She had 4,400 dudes trying to talk to her in
Well,
her
I'm
in her box, and I was just like, we're not playing by the same rules.
hold on now. Was her name, did it start with Kim and did it end with Kardashian? I mean, who the hell were
No,
you on the date with, hun?
she's just a regular attractive woman. But women probably get 10 times as more traffic on their online dating than men.
Okay.
I'm,
I don't
I'm
know if men feel, I don't know. And I'm not going to dispute that. I'm not going to sit here and say that that's not true. I'm not a man and I'm not on a dating app, so I really don't know. But now, one thing I have found is because what men will tell me is that, oh, V, you're very attractive. I know your DMs are blown up, or I know you get approached out here often. And I would say that's not necessarily true either. I find that maybe sometimes people aren't, they might think that, you're out of their league. I know she or he has somebody. So I'm thinking maybe you're not getting approached because are you approachable? And then maybe people might perceive you to be, out of their league as well. Like, because I don't think very attractive people get approached as often.
Apparently not. I mean, you're attractive, and I don't. I just don't. Definitely not in public. It's definitely women have a lot more courage online, but again, still, it's far and few. I might get a lot of, "Hey, you're attractive," and then they just disappear. So it's just this constant wave of people where you might say, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? My name is Lamar," and it goes back, and then they disappear.
What do you think women can do? Let's say you're out and about, and I'm not saying you're doing something important, but let's just say you at a restaurant, at a bar or something with your male friend, just one male friend. Would it be annoying to you if a woman approached you at a bar?
No, not at all. I mean, I think that men and women, given the situation, and I live in Houston, so I live in a big city. So there's rarely, if you see someone, you should talk to them because there's a greater chance you'll never see that person ever again. So it's kind of one of those
It's
things. So,
true.
I mean, that's. I mean, I've lived in Houston since I was 15 years old. I've never seen anybody that I went to high school with. Not one person.
You're saying you don't run into people that you know?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
Rarely. It's rare. So I went to Prairie View. When I go out and I go to black establishments, every blue moon I see somebody I went to school with.
Mm,
The city is just that big. It's just, I mean,
okay.
it's just that
Mm,
big, and it's so segmented that like I live on the west side of town. I won't go to the north. I would never go to the south. There's nothing there. I go into the city. That's it. So it's like it's just the city's humongous. It just really is. So if I meet somebody out and I live out in Katy, and if I say, "Hey, where do you live at?" She goes, "Oh, I live in Channelview." Well, that's all the way on the other side of town. So we're definitely not talking. That's an hour away.
wait, how an hour? Okay, so I'm in the DMV. Everybody's an hour away. In the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, right?
It's just a
Everybody.
It's just different. It's just a different thing. I mean, it's more towards the oil refineries. It's a good hour and a half away. So it's just kind of like, how, I mean, we could be friends, but I mean, how
Mhm.
can we have really, I want my woman around me a little bit more than once a week.
How often?
No, I mean, I live by myself. So I'm kind of getting used to that. So, which I know is bad. So I would say 2 or 3.
Mm, two or well, okay, that's good. That's doable. Because one thing about me, I don't. I'm probably one of the rare females. No, there's females out there like that, but I don't need to see anybody every day. For me, two
Yeah.
times a week
Well, I
is
mean,
good for me.
you get to lay in your own bed. You get to have your own little space, and sit
Hmm.
with your own thoughts and stuff. And I think my biggest thing is, I've been by myself for 4 years now. I've lived truly by myself because when I first got divorced, my brother lived with me for a little while, and my mom lived with me for a little while. So it just, so for the last 4 years, it's just been me, and
Okay.
it's been a different feeling. It definitely has. So it's I don't know.
Okay. Well, we got Yolanda. She said, I think overall times are different, and maybe I'm too old, perhaps. Well, girl, I think we all are. We fit the overcrowd over here. So, any ideas on how to go about dating in a different approach? I don't know if you want to, because I know you're out actively, ladies. Lamar is actively dating and searching for his special lady. So, do you want to answer Yolanda's question?
I think at this age that we don't have time to play. And if it's somebody that you're attracted to, send them a drink, walk up to them, say hello. I mean, it's the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So it's, I think, and, we could play those games, 20 years ago when we were kids, but now why would you not, approach somebody? Why would you not, just go over and say hello? Don't hurt anything.
Because people, let's be honest, people don't approach people because of fear of rejection. So I think, even if somebody approaches me out in public, if they approach me and it's polite and it's respectful, I will say I will easily, not easily, but nicely, I will nicely reject somebody because I'm not really. I'm chilling right now. I'm in chiller mode, right? But some people don't reject nicely, and so because of that, it keeps people from approaching.
I don't approach anyone when I'm out. So most of mine is online interaction. So when I go out with my fellas, I've started to learn that I'm out with my guys. If we go out, smoke cigars, if we out, having a drink or something like that, we'll do steak night every once in a while. I'm not necessarily looking to meet somebody. So, we have women, like it'll be a group of guys and maybe 5 or 6 guys, and we're all standing around talking. Some of these guys are married, some of them not. And we're just enjoying each other's company because we all work out at the gym together. And women are kind of interject themselves and kind of be like, hey, what's going on here? And then they want to talk to you and stuff like that. We kind of like, hey, we appreciate it, but, we're kind of having a guys thing. And women don't like that.
Wait, hold on, Lamar. Wait, okay. Um, Wait, now we just said approach, and now you said don't. Which one is it?
I'm not saying not to. I'm just saying that most women don't. And the ones that, sometimes I have learned, over the last couple of years being out, I just like being out with the guys. I'd rather interact online with women, it's just.
So you don't approach women. So if we were in Kroger, I don't know what kind of grocery store y'all got in Texas.
HEB.
Okay, the Piggly Wiggly. So if we walking down the street and we come across the Piggly Wiggly, and I'm up in there shopping for green beans, and you looking at watermelons, and then let's say I smile at you, and I give you the inviting eyes. You wouldn't say anything.
It just depends on how inviting those eyes are, because I don't like rejection. So I've been rejected. Everybody doesn't say yes to Lamar. So it's just, that's not a good feeling. And it takes a man a long time to build up that courage to go talk to somebody, and it's just, after a while, you just kind of, you don't want to do that. That's why I say online is great for me, because I don't read signals very well. And I don't like assuming anything. So it's kind of like, if you're online and you like my picture, that I have to mess it up. So it's like, I know you're interested. At least we can say hello to each other. So that's a good start for me.
Oh, okay. I guess, and I'm stuttering because I'm a little confused. I'm a little baffled here, right? Just because when we're out and about, if women aren't approaching and you aren't approaching, then we all just got to get on a dating app. I'm like, no.
Well, we nobody wants to get rejected. I don't want to get rejected.
We got to get over that. I have gone up to men, and I remember, and it's been a long time. I can remember a man, he was really nice about it, because I will say men have been polite to me if I say something, and he's like, I actually am in a relationship. I was like, oh, okay. And I didn't think anything about it. Like, I just keep it moving. But I feel like somebody has to say, because if I give you somebody the inviting eyes, I'm giving you inviting eyes. That means I want you to come and approach me. And Renew says V and Lamar will look good together. Well, great. We will look great together. Okay, I know we are too. He's beautiful. Hey, I feel like I'm attractive. I feel like, yeah, we would look good together, right? But I'm short. Hey, Garrett.
That's an average. That's an average height. The average woman is about 5'4", 5'5".
Oh, okay, 6'6". Ladies, for anybody who just joined, Lamar is a handsome, single, 6'6", has a career, educated, athletic, and the beard is real, right? There ain't no glue attached to it.
No glue.
Okay, good. Okay. Carl said, I was approached by a young lady this week, but didn't feel the chemistry. Maybe it's the tumultuous divorce I just went through a couple of years ago. Okay, but Carl, I want you to say in the chat, like, okay, how did you turn her down, though? Because I think that's important, because if I coach ladies to, be approachable, but to me, that means y'all got to do some approaching. Don't be approachable. And I want men, to approach women again.
I make it a point that, like you asked me, can I dance? I make it a point that when I go to
I ain't ask you on the live. I asked you in the chat.
Yeah, I can dance, and I try to smile a lot, so it's like, okay. I don't want to be the security. You know, I don't want to be over in the corner stone facing them like that. So I tend to try to smile a lot, things like that. So I hope I'm making myself approachable. It doesn't happen that much, like I said, I can't remember the last time somebody's approached me.
Okay. What can women do to make you approach them though?
I think what women have always done, but I don't think that they do it anymore. It's kind of like, flirt with your eyes, and it rarely happens anymore. Like my man here said, he said, women they'll give you their Instagram quick, be like, here, hit me on Instagram. I'm like, that's why I don't do that whole dance out thing. The online dating is so much convenient for me.
Okay. So how's online dating how's it going, or whichever way?
Fishing in muddy water.
Okay.
Like I said, you can connect and have a conversation for a day or so with somebody, and then it just disappears. But I don't get a lot of connections. It's like I don't get a lot of connections. I get a lot of inquiries, but we all know that that's based on some physical characteristics too. So lately it's been a lot of 58 and older women. So
well, you got to change your damn
right.
You got it open to you. Okay, your ideal woman. Let's talk about, because we gonna find Lamar his Mrs. Right. We're gonna find, and those who listen to me on my podcast, because I will say on my podcast, I want to thank everybody who listens to me on my podcast. I get a lot of downloads on there, so I'm very grateful for that. So on the podcast, if y'all want to see what Mr. Lamar looks like, y'all gonna have to go over to my YouTube channel and watch the replay of the live. Okay, so when it comes to, again, ladies, I'm not really on the dating apps. And men, if you got, I know that you guys have different experiences on the dating apps, and I know that Dr. L and I have talked about, one time we did a live, and he talked about, I guess men just have it harder. And I guess I really want to understand that, because I coach men and women. Most of my clients have been men, but I coach women as well. And I'm starting a new coaching program super soon, where I just work with women, Black women in particular, but women, on what we can do out here to attract a masculine man. How can we be more feminine in our approach, right? So what do you think is because if a man like you is on the dating apps and you're not getting a lot of connections on the dating apps, what do you think it is? Your opinion?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. And I'm on 3 right now. So I'm on like Hinge, Facebook dating, and so I just deactivated the Bumble, but I was on Bumble for a second. So, but right now I'm on only 2. So Hinge tends to be, better women, more educated, kind of more take care of themselves. You see a little bit more quality women. But again, it's hit or miss, and it's not the lack thereof of, if I like someone's picture, I rarely get a response. So I don't know. I just leave it as it is.
Okay. All right. So then, if that's the case, what type of woman? That's where I was going with the last question. But what if we could design the perfect woman for you? What does she? Okay, I don't want to focus on looks, but I know that for men, the way a woman looks is muy importante. So I get that, So what is your ideal woman? What does she look like, and how does she, her activities, hobbies? Let's define her.
As I get older, it's not necessarily about looks. Looks are important, but for me, it's more of a mindset. Have you done therapy? Have you healed yourself from, past traumas? Are you healthy? Are you, actively, in a lifestyle that, you're promoting health? Are you going to the gym? Are you eating healthy? Things of that nature. Where is the peace set? Are you feminine? Just things like that. What are your interests? Are you, do you read books? What do you do? What are you into? So it's not necessarily per se looks anymore. I probably don't date under the age of 35 anymore. I have, when I first got divorced, I was attached to somebody that was about 22 years old and had a good relationship. Yeah, she was.
Did you say 2-2?
2-2. But so given the industry that I am, so me at 53 years old, I'm not 53 years old. So I am responsible for a business that caters to a consumer between the ages of 20 to 35. So I have to know pop culture, I have to know music, I have to know everything that these young people know. So that kind of alienates me out of my age group a little bit. So, and it's hard to connect with some. And that any woman that I connect with has got to have a younger spirit about herself. She's got to be a little bit alive. So, she, and again, it's not a thing. You got to know music, but if you don't know some of the songs that are mostly out, or some of the movies or things like that, it's so that I was at that time period at 45, I was probably closer to the age of 32 in my mindset and kind of how I was doing. So dating a 22-year-old wasn't that far-fetched. So, and we dated for 4 years. It was a good relationship. I just had to end it because she was young. She needed she needed to be able to figure out what she truly wanted. So we ended it.
I'm just I'm sorry. My face. Look, one thing about me, I can't. My face says it all. I done got in trouble at work a couple of times. They told me to go off camera because I'd be like,
No, I
girl, I
mean,
know.
but you got to look at this. So I was with someone from the age of 20 to 45. I knew nothing about women, absolutely nothing. So once I walked back outside, my brother looked at me. He said, "Boy," he said, "they gonna eat you up out here." And I had to go through some situations, and I had to study women. I had to get on dating sites. I was going on 2 or 3 dates a week. I was out at the bars with my boy Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I had to put myself in these scenarios to learn about different women. And I did. I think I've done a pretty good job over the last 9 years of studying females.
Okay, 22. So I don't even know. I mean, that's 22. She still got Similac on her damn breath. Like,
She's 30 years old now, so it doesn't matter.
okay, my gosh, I can't. I can't. Okay, we're gonna let that one go. Cedric, hey boo, Atlanta in the chat showing love you V. Thank you. And I know we be having conversations. It's hard to approach women nowadays. They will give their, yeah, well, that's what you said. Give their Instagram before their real number. But wait, that's weird. I guess that's what it's saying. And I'm about to give up. Well, I'm gonna say don't give up because I don't know women. I personally wouldn't give my Instagram. Here's why. If you're out here and you're listening, I wouldn't give anything like that because if your Instagram, like my Instagram, the only Instagram I have is I use it for my business. I don't have my personal Instagram. I don't have one. But if you have a personal Instagram, you're sharing pieces of yourself like you don't even know this person. So to Cedric's point, like why would you share pieces of you and your family, your kids, your mama, daddy, whoever you got on your Instagram when you don't even know this person? So that might be a young woman thing. Hopefully no grown woman is out here talking about you got a Snapchat. Y'all stop that crap, okay? Because that's some BS. Like, pick up the damn phone, let's have a conversation. The Instagram, like that's sharing too much information. So don't do that. Like, don't do that. Like
So
I said,
I will say if I've been out and I do approach a woman and ask her for a number, I don't necessarily get resistance on that.
okay. So you have approached women out
Yeah,
in public.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so
Yeah,
what
I
made
don't.
her approachable?
I don't know what she looked, I guess. I mean, she might have been looking good that day. I mean, it's just more things. I mean,
What made her look good? I mean, I'm just wondering, like,
her
what makes a
curvy.
man approach a woman?
She's curvy. She's dressed right. Smell good. Look good. I mean, maybe she's dancing. She could dance right. I mean, smile good. I mean, just the vibe. I've learned how to really focus in on people's energy. And
Hmm.
I've been on dates, and I remember it was one particular date, and we were waiting for the valet, and I walked up behind her and didn't touch her, but just stood like really close behind her, and she took 2 steps up and was like, "You can't stand that close to me." She said, "Your energy's too strong." And I was just kind of like, "Oh, okay." Like, so it's a thing. So
Okay, and so then what happened? Then what happened? Like, did y'all exchange numbers?
we went on a
Did
date.
you?
We're on a
Okay,
date, so I still hang. I still talk to her from time to time.
okay,
We tried to date, had some hiccups, and we're friends right now.
okay.
Just like
Eh,
that.
Okay, that's fine. I know I have Yolanda has a question. Are you looking to date local or are you open? Are you open to, let's say Yolanda lives in New York? Yolanda, I don't know where you live.
I'm not a long distance guy. We could probably be friends. We can hang out all the time. I mean, whenever you want to hang out. I mean, a flight is a flight, but I mean, like I said, I need my woman in my bed at least 2 or 3 days a week.
Okay, in your bed. Okay. Okay, this ain't that type of show. Garrett said it look her eyes doesn't cut it. Anyone can look at anyone fleetingly. Women got to step it up. Okay, Garrett, but what does that mean though? Women have to step it up because I feel like men. I understand. I know Dr. Dell and I have had conversations about the men are scared of the Me Too movement and all this other stuff, and I get that, but women still want to be pursued, right? I still want to be pursued. I'm not. I don't want. I'm not a. I don't want to go up and approach a man. Like I will give compliments, and Mimi will tell you. I think Mimi's been around me many times. I give out compliments to people I'm not interested in. I give out compliments to women, men, but as far as approaching, I still want to be approached. So if y'all not approaching us, we not approaching. We just walking by each other.
It has to be without a doubt. You got to be. For me, I mean, I got blinders on, so you have to be like looking at me like, come over here, boy. Like, you bring your ass over here. I need that type of look because I don't want to walk across nowhere and be like, hey, how you doing? And then you kind of take that opportunity to give me the cold shoulder, make me look silly. Nah, I'm too big for that. Everybody's watching me walk across and be like, oh, this big old nigga going at like that.
Okay. Carl said if she'd given me her number, then yes. But if I had given her mine, then no call. Now, see, huh? Why would Carl? Now, come on now, boo. I'm not going to give anybody false hope like that. I'm not going to just say, hey, take my number, and then I'm gonna turn around and as soon as you call, I'm gonna block your ass. Like, like I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna tell you right then and there. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I have said, like I could have a husband. I ain't got no damn husband, but but it really depends because women do have to be careful. And you've seen the news about rejecting men, and sometimes men don't take rejection well, and then a woman ends up and I'm half Chinese, and they'll say "see cow cow." I mean, like, in Chinese, right? So women have ended up damaged, harmed, burned, all kinds of things just because of rejecting a man, right? So we women have to be careful.
Absolutely.
So I know, Mimi, you said I would love to hear things from a man's perspective. Mimi, yeah, put in a chat, please. Like you would like to hear from his perspective, because unless you got goo goo gaga eyes and you give him that look like, that will tear you up, then he ain't approaching. Okay, doctor said 1,000% harder. There have been studies about it. Many men don't get hits.
Exactly.
Don't get hits for weeks.
Look, I could pull up my hinge count now, and it is bone dry.
I find that, ladies, I know daggone well. Okay, ladies, for the ladies who are on dating apps, I would love to hear your opinion as to why would this man's account be bone dry in his DMs or even in, because we're gonna give out your Instagram. Well, now we or something. People got to get in touch with you. You sexy, you single, okay? And I should put the banner up. He's 6'6", ladies, size 12. I wrote that down. Size 12 shoe. How big are your hands? Okay. Oh, it's a big hand, ladies. That's a big hand. I got little bitty hands.
You do have a little hand.
I have little, yes, little hands. Yes. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to keep going down. Maybe women don't think he would be interested. And I am going to agree with Mimi, because usually if we see somebody who's really attractive, sometimes we might think they're out of our league. Right.
I don't think women think that. I don't think
don't think women think that?
I don't think women have a barometer of any man is out of their league. Not by some of the women I get approached by, because I'm like, we'll be looking at each other like we're the number 10. I'm like, come on now. It's like we don't even make sense on some of these things.
Wait, hold on now. Hold on. I've said this about people. I ain't gonna say nothing.
But okay, I give you a prime example. There was a young lady on a dating site, and she made a comment in her bio: swipe in your lane. And I actually text her and was like, it must really be nice to be a woman, because if I said that on a dating app, so here's the funny thing. I got kicked off a Hinge because I didn't reply to some women's advances, and they reported me as a catfish, and I got kicked off.
What? One of my clients did get, I want to say, it was a dating app. He got banned.
Mhm.
And when I asked him why, it was a very simple situation. And I guess they really do be banning people
No,
from dating apps.
yeah. So it was a situation. So I emailed the people, and I was like, "What happened?" They was like, "Somebody reported you as a catfish." I was like, a catfish, like because I didn't respond. I think I have the right to not respond to whoever I don't want to respond to. But
Hold
apparently
on now.
not.
You just said want nobody in your DMs. Now you're not
I'm
okay.
just
Now,
saying
doctor,
on a dating app. I mean,
on
come on.
dating.
I done had some 400-pound women be like, "Hey, I'd like to do this with you." I'm like, we don't even look right together. Like, come on, man. I'm not, believe me, I do not have an ego, because I was a skinny kid forever. So there's no ego. It's just,
Okay. So are you saying curvy? You like curvy women,
I
but
like
maybe
height weight proportionate with a healthy lifestyle. So it's like you have to attend the gym. And again, you don't got to look like no model. We're 50 plus years old, but the effort has to be there, because my goal is, I'm at 65 years old and plus, I want to be able to still be active and walk on the beach and have some decent sex. But if you ain't taking care of yourself and 200 pounds overweight, it's not going to work. But a lot of women are like, "Hey, you could be my trainer." I'm sorry, I'm just not in the business to motivating anybody. I mean,
no.
that's your own journey of your own life, of what you have to do. I had my own journey in the gym. You have your own journey. So it's like, I don't have time to motivate somebody like that.
Okay, Dr. L said Lamar's killing it with a hit a day. Okay, you're getting at least a hit a day, so that you should be very appreciative. He's a rock star, so if he can't get anyone, it's hard out here.
Thank you, Dr. L. Stop that. And that's what it's just the reality of it. And I said this on our podcast, is that if a man is under 6 foot, makes under six figures, and is a little bit under overweight, he is invisible to about 80% of the women walking the planet. And
Okay.
there's some good men out there, but the problem is that there are some women that are his perfect match.
Wait, hold on. Hold on. I want ladies to, I don't want to speak for all women. I want ladies to respond like, women, do you guys feel that way, that if a man is, let's say 5'8", 5'9", like you in maybe carrying, what's a little bit of weight? Let's just say 20,
I think 15 pounds,
15. Okay.
15 to 20 pounds is at our age is going to be expected, but
Okay.
you should be actively working to address it.
Okay. Okay. So women, are you ladies not even gonna swipe? Is it right or left? Is it right?
Right.
Swipe is right
Right.
as a okay. Ladies, you're not gonna even swipe right on I'm and how we gonna know if they make under six figures or not? Six figures in the DMV, honestly, ain't gonna get you far. I mean, not at 10000. Like it's gonna have to be. And y'all can say what you want, but I'm telling you, in the DMV, in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, 100 grand ain't gonna get you much around
Well, I
here.
mean,
Like,
100 grand, there is average. So we'll
mm-hmm,
probably not exclude California and those areas like at
mm-hmm.
Miami and stuff like that. But, if you make 65, 70 in Houston, you're
You're doing pretty
okay.
good.
You're
Okay.
doing okay. I mean, you can take care of yourself.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know. Yolanda says she got catfish 4 times. I'm over the dating. Look, look. One time I got catfished when I was on a dating app years ago. This was years ago. I think right out of my marriage. I've been divorced about 10 years and been in two long-term relationships since then. And yeah, this guy, yeah, I showed up to the date and I was like, who the hell are you? Totally different person. And not that he was unattractive, because he wasn't. I didn't understand why he used somebody else's pictures. He was like, well, this is the bullshit he gave me. Well, I'm a doctor and I didn't want my picture out there. He used somebody totally different picture, and I showed up and he was a totally different person. I don't know why people do that. Like
Did you
that's
like him?
BS. I continued to date. I continued with the date. Did I like him? No, because he's a liar. And that's a character. That's a character. That's a
I
pretty
mean,
big
I,
character
yeah,
flaw.
I mean, it is. I got catfish one time. I went on a lunch date with a woman. I could tell she was a little older. But I said, my buddies tease me all the time because obviously I dated younger. So I was like, I'm gonna step outside and let me go on a date. She was 57. 56. And we sit down, lunch, da, da, da. And she's like, I gotta tell you something. I'm not 56. I'm 62. And I was just kind of like, I'm like, okay, and she was just like, I'm not looking for anything. I just want a friend. Okay, cool. And she invited me over to eat one time, and she sat on this couch. I sat on that couch, and then one time she sent me a picture. I guess it was supposed to be sexy, but it looked like a J.C. Penney ad.
I want to. I don't want to. I didn't. You better not talk
Look,
about that.
look,
You
look,
better leave.
the underwear were up here, up like almost at her armpits.
She tried. Let's give her an A for
And
effort.
I kept telling my female friends, I was like, no, she just wants to be friends. They're like, you are so naive. Like this woman, and when she sent the picture, she said, see, I told you. And I was just like, okay. I was like, all right. So
But did she look 62 in her face?
yes.
Okay. Okay.
She was probably very attractive in her 30s. I mean, she was from Tunisia. So she was a different woman. So she was, but at 62, yeah, she looked like a grandma, like one of my grandma's friends.
Okay, I ain't even gonna. I'm not. I'm not even gonna touch it. Cedric said us men don't have the luxury of saying no. I'm good. We have to like and love who like and love us back.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You do the work on yourself, my man. You'll have your pick. You do the work on yourself. Go to the gym. The gym is your friend. At this age, the gym is your friend. It's going to extend your life. It's going to help you attract the woman that you desire. It's just overall going to give you the confidence to be able to walk into a room. So the gym, if you are over 40 and you're not going to the gym 3 days a week, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Okay. Well, I will say, okay. Now, I think as we get older, especially as women, we approach menopause, the weight just kind of comes on, right? The things that we used to do to keep the weight off, like I used to be Tybo queen back in, when Tybo was hitting, my ass was on Tybo like crazy. Having a six pack and all that, that, because I am very much so in the gym, but the weight does creep on, right? And like I said, most of my clients have been men in the last couple of years. They've been men, and even my white male clients. I have a white male client who prefers black women. Like he doesn't, as we would say back when we were younger, he act black. No, he does not at all. Not at all. He is a white man who loves black women, but he said this once, and he said, one thing, V, I didn't realize that, because he is 50 years old. He said, I didn't realize a lot of black women are overweight. And he said when he was on like a Bumble app, when it was very diverse, he really didn't notice it. But then he joined, I guess there's apps where only black women and black men are. And then he joined an app where it's just black women that he's scrolling. And he said it was like 70% of the women,
It definitely when you get over a certain age.
So I'm with you. I mean, I'm in the gym. I go to gym often because my gym is expensive. So I be damn. I be up. My girlfriends will tell you. I be up in that gym taking their lotion, their cotton balls, their Q-tips, their towels, and everything else because I pay $185 a month to go to that damn gym.
So
yes.
You live in a part of the country that I pay. You know how much I pay for my gym membership?
How much?
$25.
Is that Planet Fitness?
No, I got a 24-hour. It has a pool, has basketball courts, it has all the classes, it has a steam room, has a sauna, it has an indoor and outdoor pool.
For $25? No, not damn sure not here. My gym, I go to a Lifetime gym.
Lifetime's ridiculous. My daughter just signed up for Lifetime. It's like $100 a month. I'm like, I had Lifetime in Memphis, but Memphis is probably one of the worstest places in the world. So it was only like 55 there. So.
But, okay. Yeah. Here it's, 185.
Everything there is ridiculous.
It is.
I don't know how y'all live there. I really don't. I mean, it's like, if you knew what I tease all my counterparts when I go to Boston. I was like, why do y'all live here? The weather sucks. It
Yeah,
costs too
Boston
much.
sucks.
It's like, do you know what you could buy for $300,000 in Houston?
Okay, we're gonna move down to Houston. Okay,
I'm,
I see.
I'm
Okay,
not inviting any of
interesting.
y'all to come down here because it's already too crowded. So I mean, it's way too
We're too late. We're on our way. Angela, hey from Philly. Let's see what Garrett said. Right? Is she fasting and keeping slim?
true.
Most of U.S. is overweight. Right? And I will say, as a, I because you go to the gym, and I will rock with you on this one for sure. Because you were taking care of yourself, you go to the gym. You have every right to have that standard because that is a standard that you have established for yourself, right? And so you have every right to have that preference in your lady because if you're taking care of yourself, it's not like you're saying, I'm 459 pounds, but my woman, she got to have a six pack, fat ass, big boobs. You're not saying that. You're saying, I take care of myself, I work out, and I can see that, you're tall and it looks like you're fit. Yeah, I don't know if I know you got some thirst traps out there, showing your six pack, ladies. He got a six pack. I'm just saying, okay. So
You can go to Instagram and see all that stuff.
I get it. I'm with you because I have the same standards as well. I'm more
Yeah,
with the mindset. Okay.
I think over my dating, what I've learned is, to get, focus on energy, ask the appropriate questions. Have you been to therapy? Where are you at in this journey of life? Or where are you with your spirituality? So I'm not a very religious person, but I am spiritual. So it's just like,
Me too.
where are you? Because, it's just that all of that matters. Can we mesh? Because I need to know what your interests are. That not my interests don't need to be your interests, but it'd be nice if we had some common interests. And I think when you meet somebody, you can learn something from them. So some things that you like, you can introduce to me, and then some things I
True.
can introduce. And that's the give and take. That's what I didn't get in my marriage. And that's why I started to go like, damn, why is everything I like stupid, but everything you like is we got to do? Like that don't seem fair. So it's just like, and it was just little things like that. So those are things that I look for to kind of go, how compatible can we be? Because being with somebody for 25 years and now I've had 3.5 meaningful relationships in the last almost 10 years.
A
And
3.5. What's the half?
the half one didn't last long enough for me to really count it, but I gave it my all. So I kind of use it as a thing because I went cold turkey. I met this woman. I was just like, okay, fine. I'm going to give it my all. I came out my shell. She wanted me to come to her place every day, and I did. And we talked about a life together. And you can only pretend for so long. You can tell me you healed all day long, but then the real you is going to come out. And when it did, I had to make a decision, and I had to really go, like me and Trey always talk about. It's like, is this some behavior that I am going to, kind of continue, or I'm going to accept? And I just didn't want to accept that behavior. Now she's since her mother passed, she went and, had, therapy, and she's worked on herself. So we're friends. Doesn't mean anything other than that. I mean, I don't, we're friends. That's as much as I can give right now. So it's like, I'm really big on energy. Where you at? What's the work you're doing on yourself? And then we start layering on the gym and what your interests are and things of that nature, and looks and all that other stuff. So.
Okay, so you said, so I want to know what your interests are because we find a Mrs. Right here. Somebody out here is going to align with you. Okay, so what are your interests? What do you like to do? And that's a question. Look, we can skip. Ladies, don't come to this man DM talking about what does he like to do for fun because he about to answer it right now, Dave.
So I love comedies.
Okay.
I'm definitely, I like documentaries. I like to learn. I like to feed my brain. I want to laugh as much as I can, but I also have days that I feel like my brain needs to learn something, So I'm not a big reader. I wish I was, but I do watch documentaries. So I'm always, watching something on YouTube, and, I'm a borderline conspiracy theorist, and I just find a lot of things, history buff, UFOs. I'm nerdy. So I'm not going to make any sense. I'm nerdy. So, the gym, I'm a big believer on date nights. I love going out to try new restaurants and stuff. So, I want to have experiences that, I I had a friend of mine I've known for, God, 20 years. So we worked together, and she lives in New York, retired, and she was in Houston, hit me up and was like, hey, do you want to go to see the Rolling Stones? Now, my initial thought was, what the hell I want to go see the Rolling Stones for? And then I caught myself and said, go for the experience. And I'm glad I did, because now that's kind of how I challenge myself to do different things. And I actually, that was the beauty of that young relationship. She brought me out of, she showed me how to be ambitious and have spontaneity and stuff like that. So it's like, I would take her with me when I traveled all the time. And we would go, when we hit a city, she would be like, hey, we're going to do this, 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 and this, whether it was food or some type of history or something like that. She was just into what I was into. And that's how you win.
Okay, wait, I got to wipe my nose. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, I know somebody did ask me this offline, and I don't know if she put it in the chat yet, but where can single women meet a fine, handsome, sexy man who also loves Star Wars? Like, where can a woman go to meet a man who shares that interest?
I mean, I would tell you, my aunt is 62 years old. She's single. So I told her the easiest place to meet a man is the gym. The gym is the club. So it's just like, and now you've already established that you kind of have the same lifestyle. You're kind of healthy, conscious. And then from there, it depends on what are the common interests. So it's women have it a lot easier. You have it a lot easier. It's just, I think most women are looking for a very small percentage of men, and they're overlooking the majority.
Now I will, and then here's the thing, and this is why I'm, moving more towards coaching women, because I coach men, like I said, and I hear this, and I have 3 adult sons, right? And and I always say this: my parents been married 52 years, so I'm very familiar with men. Not that I am a man, but I'm very familiar with you guys' dating struggles, because I hear them. I hear them from my clients, right? There are women though who are also, they have a harder time than y'all think. It might be more, you think, more available men for women, but women have a hard time understanding how you guys date, right? What you guys are looking for in a woman, right? And I know you've mentioned, you kind of touched up on it about a feminine woman, right? Before I allow you to say what that means to you, I want to read Garrett's. Garrett said, V, step it up means use the feet and walk up to him, use words and talk to him, even making a suggestion of a potential date. Make it as easy as possible for him, or no dice. Well, Garrett, here's the thing though. Why? Women don't want to be the pursuer, and that's the part that I want you men to understand. You don't want us to be masculine, and we'll go into the feminine thing right here real quick, but you don't want us to be masculine. But if you're putting us in a position to be the pursuer, to be the chaser, and that's not the role of a woman. I'm not going out here and chasing. No, like I told you before, boo. My dog run away. I got videos of my dog run away. He don't run away as much anymore because his ass is slow. He's slower. When he ran away, I closed that door right behind his ass. So if I'm not going to go chase my dog, I'd be damned if I go out in these streets and chase a man. So if y'all are putting us in a position to hunt y'all down, and that's not the role of a woman. So what's a feminine woman to you, boo?
I think there's a proper way to be feminine still and approach a man. So being feminine is just in how your essence, your energy around you. You're not demanding attention. You're not looking for, approval or anything like that. You're to yourself. That's a feminine, soft-spoken woman that doesn't want to be seen, that doesn't want drama. That's feminine, that wants to create peace for a man. Men settle where they have peace. It ain't about looks. It ain't about all of that. It's about peace.
What is peace though? But what's peace to you, boo?
Peace to me is not nagging me, not challenging me. It's just like we can discuss things without you challenging me. We can have a discussion about anything that's going on, but challenging me as a man, like jumping in, why are you doing like that? Talking like that is immediate. We're done. So it's just like I sit down with grown women and we have discussions, and I speak to you in a very monotone type of type. And that's how I'm going to show you, and I expect you to do it back to me. It's like, and I tell women all the time, if the man shows you that he's investing in you and he has a plan and he wants to lead, and you don't let him lead, you're going to lose that man, especially at this age. Now, I didn't have it all figured out at 25 or 35, but once I did figure it out and I started to have this plan for my family, and I did the work, and I'm looking at my wife, and her and I talked about this after our divorce, and I asked her, I said, I did not deserve respect from 20 to 32 because I didn't finish college. I jumped from job to job. I wasn't who I am today. I got motivated from 32 to 45. I became the vice president of a company. I ran a $135 million business, but you talked to me like I was 20. And I asked her, I said, why? Why didn't the respect come? And she said she couldn't get over how bad I had messed up from 20 to 32. Which was honest. I didn't deserve my family's respect at that time. I was a lost boy that was raised by a single mother. So I had to figure it out. But when I did figure it out, that's when we had problems, which ultimately led to us getting divorced. Because now I was becoming a man. I'm just like, hold up, I'm a man. I'm the man of this house. And you're not going to sit here and challenge me. And that's just, I don't know. It's just, a woman has to be feminine, especially to a man who's trying to work hard. I went back to school to be successful for one reason and one reason only: my family. That's the only. I'm glad I did it I didn't do it necessarily for them. I knew that they would be the beneficiary, but that was the motivation. So when I became successful, I'm kind of like, damn, I still can't be in charge. So I was just like, I'm a good husband. I had problems in my marriage. I'm a good father. So it's just, I know how to do these things good, but I'm not going to give that part of me. My woman, it sounds cliche. She got to be my best friend. She got to be my ride or die. She got to be the shooter. We got to be best friends. We got to be almost thinking the same thing, and that comes over time. And that's what I try to tell women all the time. It's like, don't put these hangups. Oh, we went on 3 dates. You my man now. No.
Yes, you are my man. We done chatted a whole week now. You.
It's like that friendship, if you let the friendship develop, and the man will approach you and be like, you know what? I like this. I want this. You get a different version of a man, because I've had relationships where I have been friends with women, and 2 of my last 3 relationships, it was like, I made the decision. I'm like, damn, we are really cool. Like, and she was like, go date other women. I don't care. And I'm like, man, that sounds like a setup. But what she was allowing me to do was figure it out. And ultimately I came running to her. She didn't put the time constraints on me. So I'm like, okay. But a lot of women, like I said, three dates, and they're like, you my man. I'm like, hold up. Like, we don't even know each other. Like,
yeah. I left this comment up here because I wanted to say thank you very much, Marcus, for the compliment. He said, Lord have mercy, be fine. I appreciate that very much so. But you know what I think is more special about me, just for people to just it's not my looks. It honestly is my personality and the energy that I bring. So thank you very much. Yes, and I know I'm behind on comments. I do not have a moderator, so y'all email me if you want to be a moderator. I know Dr. L got like 15 moderators. I ain't got one. So yes, and I'm gonna catch up a little bit here. Yes, we do have to be very careful when we go out here and date. You're right, Yolanda, for sure. And well, Mimi, we done heard him say his experience on the dating apps, but for other men who are out here on the dating apps, like, what struggles are you having? Because let's share it with each other. Like, my channel is about bridging the connection. I don't do divisive content. I don't like it. Like Dr. Nell and I have had many conversations. I don't like doing divisiveness because I can't stand 100% with women. And I can't stand 100% with men. I am a mom who has raised 3 sons, right? And I know I've done my damnedest to raise 3 sons. So I'm not going to sit here and say all men are terrible, because then I'd be talking about the children that came up out of my coochie. And I know they're not terrible. And I know my daddy, who I'm a daddy's little girl, even at the age of 49 years old, my daddy ain't terrible. My 2 grown nephews, my 2 grandsons. That's why I can't ride all with women or with men. So that's why I don't participate in that mess. Okay, I'm catching up here. I don't know. NYC Chocolate, did Cedric answer your question? So you don't think women get rejected? And we know NYC Chocolate, women do get rejected. We also don't want to be rejected in such a way that's embarrassing. Be like, girl, go on, carry your scraggly ass back across the street where you came from. Like, we don't want to be embarrassed or humiliated either. Right. So if a woman, I'm gonna tell you, men, it takes a lot for a woman to approach you. So if a woman approaches you, just say thank you and let her down nicely if you're not interested. But thank her for getting the liquid courage in women. You guys hear that men also fear rejection. So if a man, that's why I'm never mean to a man. Like I've had young men approach me, my kids' age. I'm like, boo boo, you coming over for a play date with my kids because my kids are, my oldest son is almost 30, so you got to be at least his age, right? So I'm catching up. Me, girl, I'm behind. The way I screamed out, girl, I don't know what the hell you was laughing at because I'm so behind in the comments. Y'all, I need a moderator. We do, Lamar. Not all women believe they can get anybody. I agree. You think that women, but
Mm,
mm,
mm.
oh, Garrett, what the hell
Well,
you
okay,
get
so
kicked off Hinge from?
let's use the thing. So ugly men are what? Confident?
What you said? I don't like to use the word ugly, so we'll just say
Okay.
unattractive.
Unattractive men are confident. They don't care. They talk to any woman, right? Correct?
I don't.
Yes, you've seen it.
You,
You know the confidence of an unattractive, short, little, ugly man. He's busting at the seams like a can of biscuits. The
not
same,
all.
the
He
same,
aligns with somebody. Somebody
that
finds him.
that same confidence comes with women that are not height weight proportioned, and they are aggressive. And no man wants to. I went on a date one time with a woman, and she was a tall woman. She was about 5'10", and she was big boned, a little bit bigger than what her picture showed. No problem. We're sitting having a drink, listening to live music. The music was loud. We couldn't really talk. She leans over and grabs my chair and pulls me close to me like I was a woman. It was like, I don't know. I just I felt like a chick, and I was just like, but she was a big woman, So I'm just like, and I don't know. I don't know.
So
She was
you
aggressive.
didn't like it. You didn't.
No,
You
I
didn't
don't
like
like
that.
it. No, I mean, she grabbed the base of my chair by the leg and pulled me closer, like, come here. But
Were your feet swinging?
I'm 6'6". No, her feet ain't swinging. My feet are planted firmly on the ground. But she was a big girl. She grabbed him and was like, come here, I can't hear you. I'm like,
Oh, Garrett said under 6 feet, less than 100K, a little chubby. That dude's toast. 99.99% of
he's out
women.
of there.
I don't know women. I'm
He's
a
out of
keep
there.
scroll. And okay, see NYC chocolate. She said, I too look. If I had to pick, it depends on. Uh,
Mm.
I do like a man that has a little bit of weight on him, right? But good weight. There's a difference. Good weight. Like if you remember, y'all, what was that TV show back in the day? What we used to watch. What's happening now? Roger, right? Remember how skinny he was? Remember Roger?
Mhm.
Was it Roger?
Roger.
Yeah, Roger, right? Okay, if I had to pick between him and, well, I don't want to say rerun because a stockier man, a stronger looking man. I'm gonna go with the stronger looking man,
And
right?
so,
Because somebody real skinny, the bones, those hip
but
bones protrude. They kind of hurt when
this is what has benefited me is that I was underweight till I was 32. So that natural putting weight on helped me, to where my buddies that I grew up with, they're fat. To where that same 25, 30 pounds I put on, people like, hey, I literally went to my college reunion. We had a party, an old school party. I walked by some girls and they all were like, ooh, and I turned looking, I said, y'all don't even remember me, do you? And then she looked at me and she's like, you went to Prairie View? I said, I played basketball here. Now I had hair, I didn't have a beard. I said, I actually had a crush on 2 out of 4 of y'all. And I was like, y'all didn't even know I was alive back then. So I was like,
Oh, okay. I think times are different now. I think, unfortunately, I do think that women are struck on the height, and therefore now it doesn't matter, what that man is bringing. Women be like, oh well, I'ma just he tall, and I'ma tolerate his 15 baby mamas and all that other stuff, and it's just like, no, baby girl. please, height, trust me, ain't everything. And I'm keep on scrolling down. Let's see, Yolanda, I agree, but actively is a must unless there's a health. Yes, men. Look, as men age, and I've done episodes about this where I talked about menopause and erectile dysfunction. And I've had sex therapists on my show. I've had health professionals on my show, to where we talk about erectile dysfunction, right? It is an absolute must. One doctor, and this was a doctor, as she said, the best preventive measure for men to not have erectile dysfunction is mobility. She said it's cardiovascular activity. I said that in that video that went viral. I had like 1.3 million views on it, where I talk about sex after 50. And that's what I said. Like, you got to move your body, like your organs. You can't sit down all day. So men, if you're dealing with ED, especially as we get older, you got to exercise. You got to get the blood flowing. Because if not, yeah, it's going
I mean, I think every man and woman somewhere between the age of 30, 35 and 40 makes a decision. I'm going to start going to the gym. Unfortunately, there's a greater percentage of those people that fall off. And then those are the people that can't get back on it. I started at 38 years old, and I've actively been going to the gym a minimum of 3 days a week, in some cases 6 days a week, since I've been 38 years old. And the benefits that you start seeing with your peers, it just becomes leaps and bounds. Like the first 2 or 3 years, you don't see it. But like now, being almost 53, and I see people that I went to college with, or, I meet somebody my age, it is unbelievable. I mean, it's like, and unfortunately, because of that, it's allowed me to date down, so the women
date younger.
So, and that they're just more lively. They are walking into that gym thing. So if I'm already in the gym, then it kind of activates them to kind of go, I need to get in the gym, So it's like, by the time my age, like when I was married, my ex-wife she fought me, did not want to go to the gym. The moment we get divorced, oh, guess what? She's going to the gym. Like, I don't understand that.
She look good now? Does she look good?
No comment.
No comment. Thank you. If you ain't got nothing nice to say. Now,
I don't have anything bad to say, but no comment.
Now, Shedrick says, and a fun fact for the ladies, we can't get to know each other texting all day. I agree. Conversation goes a long way. Yes, y'all, you got to pick up the phone. And if you're on a dating app, I think, you got to correct me if I'm wrong, Lamar, like, don't all of the dating apps have some type of video functionality that y'all got to FaceTime faster, sooner than later, because find out if they posting pictures from 1992. Y'all don't wait till you get on the date to find that out. Like I had that one
I think
time,
guys,
that's not good.
I tell guys all the time, I say, man, you got to really study women, because I have a 48-hour rule, and it's really, we're going to get it all out in 48 hours. I'm going to push you up in the corner, and it's going to be uncomfortable, and I'm going to figure out if you're not open to it, or we can talk about it, then there's no reason. It's a red flag. So let's just walk away. And it's just easier. Now, I'm not going to waste your time. I'm not going to waste my time, because my time's too valuable. So let's have these tough conversations. It's like, and we can start wherever you want, marriage, kids, all of that type of stuff. We go down the line, and I've lived long enough that I've dated enough women to ask these questions. And, like I said, if we make it past that, we tend to be friends for, some quiet time. So.
Do you prefer to be friends with somebody first before you have any?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, but that includes, now, does that include not physically touching the woman either?
That's up to you. I mean, I've never in my life ever convinced a woman to do anything she's never wanted to. So, it's up to you. If you feel like, hey, until you mind, we're not having sex. Okay, that's cool. Listen, I'm not a man that's motivated by my dick. That's just not it. So it's like, I have done so much work on myself that I don't look at porn. I don't masturbate. I don't follow women on Instagram. I don't like pictures. I don't give that energy, because it's not productive. When I talk to women like that, they go, what? I was like, I don't lust after women. I whatever's up here is what's up here. Whatever I see is what I see. So it's a better way, because I remember when I was married and I did watch a lot of porn, and you start going like, this is not healthy, man. you know, and you just like, I haven't watched porn in like 6 years. So it's just like, it's not in my wheelhouse. So it's like, I don't know. I've done a lot of work. And when I start talking to women that haven't done work on themselves, you can tell real quick. You know, you're
Oh
healed.
yeah.
You're healed. You've done work. You know how to have conversations with people, and you go like, you're not there yet. You know, so it's just like, yeah, and you got to learn how to walk away from them.
You know, I one thing I said that I wouldn't do again is like, and I think you take it for granted. Like I'm blessed. I grew up in a very healthy like childhood, and I know some people haven't. A lot of people haven't, right? And so then you get out here and you date, and it's just like, wait a minute. What are these trauma things that you got going on that you at the age of whatever 45, 50, 55, you never got healing from? Like if you guys are still dealing with something that your mama or your daddy did or your auntie did, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, y'all please invest into some therapy
Absolutely.
because it's not my responsibility to heal you. So now I'm like, okay, if you had some childhood trauma, did you go get help from it? Because I can't heal you. I'm not a damn magician. So it's your responsibility. So Andrea says the most important thing is to work on yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally. Yes, love yourself, be confident in your own skin, and everything else will fall into place. And if it was that easy,
Yeah, I was gonna
everybody
say.
be.
I was gonna say.
But I agree.
It's it. I agree.
People struggle. They don't know what work on yourself means, and the thing is, people don't know that they're walking around with demons on them. They don't know that they've been doing it for this long all their life, and then people don't take the time to heal in between relationships, or even do any self-reflection from they just go into it. Men do it more, and studies have shown men do that more often than women. They just, because men a lot of times don't like to sit in their loneliness or their alone time. So the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody, right? And so they just go right to the next piece of snatch and thinking that, well, I'm not going to heal. That I'm raw dogging her down. Like I don't have to reflect back on the last woman. And the fact that, yes, you do. Yes, you do, because I guarantee you that woman gave you a bunch of feedback that you need to go and work on. So work on that sugar honey iced tea. So
What do you think it? So I ask women all the time is that what does it say that I walked away from my marriage? Because less than 20% of men walk away from marriages.
if we were on the date and you said that to me, and I'm not saying as a dating relationship coach, if you said it to me as somebody on a date with you, I would ask a lot of questions because it would mean that to me you were really fed up. And I think people walk away from relationships. Women walk away, believe it or not, we tried. Women will try and try and try. So I'm wondering I would first wonder if you gave it your all. Typically, as study, and this is just studies because I read a lot, boo boo. Boo boo. One thing I do is I read a lot. Studies have shown men typically leave relationships because they have somebody else lined up. So I'm not saying that's you, but men don't. A
Yes,
lot of times.
so this is what I said. This is what I can admit. So I've been to therapy, so I can admit this, and I've actually apologized to the young lady. So the 22-year-old, I used her. So I used her to escape my marriage because my ex-wife always said, if I catch you cheating, we're done. So I was falling in love with the other chick, and I used her, as I let my ex-wife, catch me. So it's just like, hey, and she didn't leave, so I still had to sit down with her and go like, listen, I don't want to do this. And it was just, I went back to the young lady and I told her, I said, listen, I put you in adult situations. You were 22 years old and you were dealing with things you shouldn't have been dealing with. And I said, that's my fault. I take responsibility for that. And I said, I hope that I haven't damaged, because we're in the same career. And she actually works for one of my accounts still. We still talk to this day. I mean, and it's adult. We are adults now. She has a child and she's moved on with her life, and it's like I had to go back and sit with that woman and heal that trauma and kind of let her know I messed up. I was the adult. I was 45 and you were 22. So I should have handled it better. And I didn't. And I sat with her and she's like, thank you. And she's like, I said, no. I said, listen, I've done a lot of work on myself. There's nothing that anyone can say to me to make me go, ooh, that hurt. I've sat in front of the mirror. I've been in therapy. I've cried my eyes out. Listen, there's nothing you can say. I own it all. It is what it is.
Okay, just one. Okay, thank you for sharing that. So are you saying that the statistic that I had just said was correct in your case?
Yeah,
It was correct.
I was tired of trying. I was absolutely tired. I was
Why,
a,
babe, okay, boo boo. So let me tell you, and Henry, I see your comment, and let me just say, he says, my wife left me after 18 years together. 10 years you guys were married. And what is it? Wait, together 10, married for another
mm,
woman. Oh, she left you for another woman?
ooh.
Okay, she probably was, lusting after women for that whole time, right?
Well, okay, but in that situation, why wouldn't you have created an environment where y'all could talk about it? Because that's a great opportunity for you guys to spice up your marriage.
Not everybody wants to have
But
somebody
I'm
else in their
but I'm
bedroom.
saying, but what I'm saying is that when you're together for 15, 20, 30 years, those type of scenarios are going to happen. Those type of conversations are going to happen. Whether you entertain them or not is strictly on your relationship. It's not for everybody. But if I were to say, if in my marriage, if my wife was saying like, listen, we've been together 25 years, let's explore the opportunity. Maybe we have another woman. Let's do some stuff, some different stuff together. I'm all in, but I'm not going to sign up for the same shit I've been doing for 25 years. Yeah, it's like,
Well, Henry, I'm gonna say, he says, I can't heal from it because of the lies for 2 years. Henry, your healing is your responsibility. And I would say take the time to work on your healing. I met a man at a swimming pool, and I may have shared this on my channel many, maybe a while ago. And it was an older white guy, and we just happened to be sharing a lane together, which I usually don't do, but they pushed him into my lane. And he was like, "You have very trusting eyes." And then next thing you know, he's telling me his life story. He got divorced 25 years ago. I think it was 25 years, and he had never moved on. Now he's 70 years old. So, Henry, don't be that person, because time will go by, and then you'll be stuck. Now, but boo boo, Lamar, I ain't let because I want to get back to, because why do men do this? I'm going to tell you this. In my last relationship, and I'm not going to lie, I had a hard time getting past that fact that he had shared with me that he'd been in a relationship, and instead of leaving that relationship, he cheated. Uh, and as a woman, even though we didn't go through that in our relationship, but that bothered me always in the back of my head, because I'm like, why not just leave the MF relationship? Like, if it's not working
so
with me, why, or her, if it wasn't working with her, why? I don't,
everyone
I
has a
don't get
different
that.
scenario. So my traumas of my childhood of being in a mother, a single parent household with a woman, longing for a male. When my daughter was born, everything went sideways. Nothing, my personal, nothing mattered. It was all about my child, and I was going to fulfill my obligations with her. Now, my hope is that when my daughter left, that we would have this empty nester reset, because we dated for 3 years. We were married for 3 years before we even had a child. So we didn't get married because of a child. We were married for 3 years, and we were learning as a young couple. She wanted a child. We had my daughter at 28. So I was hoping that once that ended, that we could, kickstart it, and it never happened. So I had to make a decision. My marriage wasn't bad. I'm never going to paint the picture. That woman is not a bad woman. She's a good woman. I was not allowed to grow. And who I am today, I would have never been that, because my dreams, my wishes, my hopes had to get put on the back burner because it was all about her. And it's in most cases that most women dominate relationships like that. And a man's hopes, his dreams, his desires are secondary. And then if there's a child, he's third. So it's like, don't worry about it. We're not concerned about you. And a lot of men have to deal with that. And I was willing to deal with it. But then after a while, you start getting less of the less. And you're like, damn, you paint me all the way up in the corner. What am I supposed to do? At some point, you gotta defend yourself. You gotta stand up and speak up for yourself.
Oh, okay. I get that. I don't even know right now. I'm just me personally. I'm gonna just say this: bounce, like bounce, because I'm gonna bounce. I'm not gonna cheat. I'm
But
not gonna.
okay,
I'm gonna just bounce.
so had I left when I probably should have, my daughter was about maybe 8 or 9. The way she manipulated her at the end of the divorce at 18, oh, my daughter wouldn't deal with me today. And I knew the person I'm dealing with. So even to this day at 26, she still manipulates her. So, but I can't fight that battle. My daughter has to grow and look at her mother and go, hey. And I told my daughter, I said, listen, you're still a young adult. You're 26. By the time you're 36, when you're 46, you're gonna look back at all this just like I did with my mom and my dad. You're gonna put it all together.
That's true.
You're gonna put it all together. And listen, it doesn't always. The family secrets will come out. And
yeah.
I just told my daughter. I told my daughter today. I told her a couple of months ago. I said, when you put this all together, give your mother some grace. That's all I'm saying. It's not worth it anymore. We've all moved on. So she's going to reflect like I did. Me and my dad wasn't in my life until I was almost 22 years old. But since 22 till now, he's my best friend. But one thing that he's done, he's been accountable. He's never badmouthed. He's never badmouthed my mother. He's accountable. He understands where he messed up. Now, on the other hand, I've never had that conversation with my mother, ever. Because women don't have accountability. Women.
No, it's not. No. I've been with men who are not accountable, and I'm gonna tell you,
there's a greater chance. There's a greater percentage of women that are not accountable, and there's a smaller percentage of men that are not accountable. Most men will stand up and go, "I messed up.
Shit.
I messed up." Most men.
Not all. Trust and believe.
And most women will not. My ex-wife, we were married for 3 years. She would not say, "I'm sorry."
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm like, what?
Okay. I've seen videos about that, women not apologizing, but okay, that's fine. Like I know that if I'm wrong, I'm apologizing. I'm gonna own up to it. If I was wrong in any way, I'm gonna apologize.
I mean, that's amazing for to hear that. If a man, listen, how many memes do you see where women don't do it? It's like the men.
Women, y'all comment. I know they're gonna. The women who watch me apologize.
No, women don't apologize. Not women, like that.
Okay, that's fine. But
baby, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I'm sorry.
We apologize. Women, prove him wrong because I know they're gonna. Well, women here apologize.
Dr. Ilma guy, if he's still on, I know he'll be like.
I know I'm behind the comments. I said I need a moderator. Darn it. Nelly said women don't have to pursue a chase, but you have to show some interest beyond answering questions. Okay. Garrett said, V, after decades of women saying, leave us alone, we don't need you, stay away, me too, etc., we finally listen. Now you see the repercussions. What I recommended is the least women can do now. Okay. Look at this comment. This is beautiful. He said, Shedrick said, love this live tonight. Y'all both have helped me more than ever. Walking into the gym right now. That's right. You better walk, boo.
Listen, I tell so my daughter and I, we have this amazing relationship that I've cultivated over the last 10, 15 years. Is that I've told her, you're going to have questions in life. And she started in the 8th grade. And I said, you're always going to go to school with a kid that knows a little bit more, has an older sibling. I said, you want to come home and verify this stuff? Ask the question. I said, Daddy's never going to lie to you. So when she comes to me, she goes, I need to ask Lamar a question. I take my dad hat off and we talk. And I've done that ever since she was probably about 13, 14 years old. So when she goes through life stuff, she calls me, Dad, can you talk? I need to. And my ex-wife used to look at her, how do you have these conversations with your daughter? I say, if she don't hear from me, who the hell is she going to hear it from? And it's like, I can't lie to her. Even as hard it would be, like when I cheated on her mom, I had to sit down with her and I said, listen, let's line it out. If you're in a relationship and you don't fuck your man, he gonna cheat on you. Take mom and dad away from it. I said, now you cannot spoon feed a man sex. You can't. I
hear you.
I'm knocking it out the park. I'm a successful. We live in a dream life. You cannot spoon feed me sex like once a week.
Spoon. Okay, you're saying just
you're controlling it.
Okay,
You're
so
controlling it, how it happens, when it happens, have the frequency. I'm like, man, I'm not
okay, what's a good frequency?
at 53, 3 times a week, 4 times a week.
Okay, I want to say
That
Shedrick,
might that
thank
might
you.
be a little much, for some women. And I mean, we got the.
No, I was in my last relationship. It was 3 times a day. So
I mean
and
that.
it was a lot. And if my daddy watch it, just forget, daddy, forget you heard that. But yeah. So Dr. L said dating apps, same thing Lamar said, ghosting, convo fizzles out. They're
Yeah.
speaking with too many men. You're gonna have women on dating apps speaking to a lot of men.
It's just,
That's facts.
it's
That's
just,
what you're
it's
gonna
one
have.
woman and 50 men, so she can't focus on you. That's unfortunate, but that's what I'm saying. So you got to be an exceptional man to make an impression on that woman immediately for her to go, hey, I forgot that guy. I ain't talked to him in a week. It just doesn't happen because the next wave is coming in and we still standing on the beach and ain't no waves coming. We just looking at the sand like, damn.
That's why. Okay, now Dr. L said once I was getting no hits, and I guess you took your PhD off, and then you got 3 in an hour. So maybe they were intimidated, maybe because they knew they didn't even have a high school diploma. I don't know. And they said, you know what? He might be using big words, and I still don't know the difference between there, and there. And they said, you know what? I'm not going to talk to him. And then Dr. L went down and said, I have just a whatever middle school, high school education. And then they said, you know what? He's not going to judge me if I don't know the difference between two, and two. So, okay, good. So you want to be a moderator? Okay, I appreciate that. Okay, I know you. Hit me up, boo. Okay, I appreciate that. Okay, Garrett said, "Wow, that's insane. I listed degrees, hobbies, goals, etc. It was dry as the Sahara." Little to nothing. Yeah, well, we're gonna change that. Women, we're gonna change that because I do want y'all, but I want men to understand if I'm in coaching women to approach y'all, I want y'all to understand, like, be open to having a conversation. If you're not interested, don't be rude. Okay, don't be rude. But I do want y'all to understand though, you can't complain about a woman coming up to you and everything and then calling her masculine because if you're not approaching her, don't. But I'm gonna agree with you, Lamar. You're right. There is a way, absolutely. Women don't, there's a way to be feminine in that and
I mean,
approaching it. I fully
woman
agree.
can, a woman can easily walk up and say, "Hey, saw you from across the room. I think you're nice looking. Can I buy you a drink?" That's feminine, as opposed to walking over like, "What's your name?" You know,
What
like,
that mouth do?
yeah, I want some of that. Like, oh, Jesus. I mean, that's
No,
two
you're
different
right
things.
though. There's a definite way for a woman to stay in her femininity and approach a man. Yes,
Yeah.
but we women, as a woman speak, I'm sitting here telling you, we women don't want to do all the approaching. I'm gonna sit here and tell you that I want to be approached. I want to be pursued. I want to be asked out. I don't want to be.
Those are very traditional roles that
Mhm.
we still remember tradition. We remember the generation that wasn't the internet, so we understand that. So, but it's just we're older now. So there's listen. I don't know what happened, and you're 49. Maybe when you turn 50, it's something about turning 50. You start looking and going like, "Hey, I'm not playing around with y'all no more." Like, listen, what you get, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's like I don't have time to play. I can't lie no more because I can't really remember shit. So it's just like you get as you get older, you start looking and go, I hope that I got 25 years. That's years. Out of those 25, I hope 15 of them that I'm still able to do the things that I want to do. So why am I going to play with you? I'm just not. It's like, man, you better come healed. Because if you're not, hey, I'm keep going.
No, you're
Keep
right.
going. I just don't have time for it. And I don't want it to come across harsh. It's just that I've already done the heavy lifting. And I'm not about to do no more heavy lifting with you and what you go through. It's now if you've done heavy lifting and I've done heavy lifting and we can continue to grow, then so be it. It could be a great friendship. But if you are still in denial and you don't even know what I'm talking about, oh man, listen. I just don't have the patience for it.
No, you're right. And I mean, when you put it like that, like because we don't it's a hard pill to swallow. We have more years behind us than we do ahead of us. You're
I,
right.
I sit alone sometimes and I really, really, really start to think like, God damn, I'm 53. My mind don't feel that way, but it is.
I
And the
know.
reality of it is 20 years from now, I'm gonna be 73. That's why I stopped dating young girls, because I was just like, oh, hold up. 20 years, I'm gonna be 73 and she's gonna be 50? Like, nah. So
No, you're right.
that reality came, and people look at me like I was crazy. And I said, listen, I'm not a stupid guy. Let me figure this out, which I did. And like I said, I want a partner that's gonna compliment me, but she's gotta do the work. And I got a standard. And the standard is you gotta be healed, you gotta be healthy, you
Okay.
gotta know who you are. And because you have a life, and you don't at this age, you had a life. I had a
Mm-hmm.
life. So if I met women go like, oh, you talk about your past too much. No, I had a whole life. Do you understand? I'm
Yeah.
53. I had a whole
At
life.
50, yeah, I know. Yeah, we think we're young forever. I know. Our minds tell us, like, I feel
Yeah,
in my mind, I'm still 22 years old, but
exactly. Yeah, exactly. But
hell,
then, and you once you cross over that 50 threshold, you're gonna be like, woo, like
I'll
hold
be
up.
50, yeah, in a few, in a few months, really. So you're right.
It's mind
Okay.
blowing. It
I
really
and I
is.
believe you, and I believe you, and I pray that I continue to take care of myself and invest into myself and eat right, like I love to
Yeah.
juice. So ladies, men, if not getting your fruits and vegetables, consider juicing. I love to juice.
Of course.
Yep, you
You
can
only
get
get you
your.
only get one body. Like,
That's
like,
true.
why would you destroy it? It's like, people don't know about fasting. I do cold plunges. I sit in a sauna. If you sit in a sauna for more than 15 hours a week, it cuts cardiovascular and sick by 60%.
Ah, I go to the steam room, and that's probably why I'm still hot.
It is things that it's like I don't eat processed food anymore. So what I eat is just it's a one ingredient type of living. So protein and vegetables and fruit. That's all I eat.
Okay.
That's all I eat. I only eat one time a day, and I do a 24-hour fast 2 times a week.
Mm. Okay. Well, you are very much so in, I do intermittent fasting as well, but not the 24-hour fast. But I usually eat 1 to 2 meals a day. But I ain't gonna lie, I love cake, damn it. So he said, whoever, Cedric says, he said, whoever has a nerve to cheat on V needs to go to jail. Ah, yes, they do. Yes, they do. So I agree. You can go on and lock up my ex-husband, okay? My doctors told me that it's not just inactivity, but primarily, yes, drinking alcohol. The doctor on the show said the
Mhm.
same thing. Drinking alcohol will, yep, it doesn't work
Is it?
with
I stopped.
erectile
I've
dysfunction.
had one drink in the last month. I literally had stopped drinking alcohol.
Yep, you
Now I
ain't got.
smoke. I mean,
I'm
listen,
allergic to alcohol.
I smoke a lot of weed though. It's like, hey, uh,
Well, at least you're honest, okay? At
I
least
mean,
you're
I mean,
honest.
but I do edibles. So like that, and I smoke flower every, once in a while. But primarily it's edibles. But I mean,
Okay.
I mean, it's just healthier. It's from the ground. It's
I believe, hey, it's from Mother Nature, is what you're saying.
yeah,
It's
it
Mother
is.
Nature.
It is.
Okay, yes. Alcohol is, you're right, though, Carl. Alcohol is no good for men. And that was what the sex therapist said on my show. So that's what
Mhm.
she said. Okay, I know I'm really behind in the comments, so I'm not going to read them all. But, I want to say, Lamar, how can women, because are you open to women reaching out to you and you're
Yeah,
going to be polite and
I will be
kind?
polite. I will be polite.
Okay, what's the
My
best?
mom didn't raise me like that. So
Okay, don't be mean to my community, right? I would say no, don't do that. Like, and people in the chat, like, if you're interested in somebody, that's yeah, that we see the same people all the time in the chat. Like, shoot your shot, right? Legit, like, shoot your shot. How can women get in touch with you since you sexy and you're single and you're looking for to mingle and you're looking for your boo?
Instagram is probably the best way. MAR_T_HALL13.
Okay, so we will get that posted. And okay, this conversation here in a man's perspective has affected my viewpoint. Thank you, Mimi. Thank you for the transparency, Lamar. Yes, we Lamar hollering style. Girl, I know, girl, NYC chocolate. I'm so behind in the chat. Y'all was laughing and stuff. That was probably 15 minutes ago, and I apologize. I'm gonna do better. Eileen said, and I love the way that name is spelled. That was how my sister's name was spelled. She is in heaven. So I'm confused. He previously said he used social for dating, but now he doesn't like pics.
No, I
Make
don't. No. I don't follow Instagram models. That's what I mean.
okay.
I'm not liking pics, and if you went into my Instagram feed, my Instagram is lifting weights, conspiracy, and Bitcoin,
And Star Wars.
and Star Wars stuff. So that's my Instagram feed, and that's my algorithm. So it's like I don't like women's pictures like that. So that's what I'm saying. But I am on dating apps. So
Okay, Rhonda, we're gonna get Rhonda back into fasting. Rhonda, girl, I'm telling you, juicing, y'all. It's the
30.
summertime coming up. Go to the farmers market, get you a seeded watermelon, cut that sucker up and juice it.
Mhm.
And celery juice, like only
Keep
because
that.
I had a lot of people comment like, what's the recipe for celery juice? Ain't no damn recipe, god damn it.
Mhm.
It's celery and it's nasty as hell.
Cucumbers and pineapples is like a natural colon cleanser.
Okay,
Everybody should,
yeah.
everybody should clean their colon at least quarterly.
Okay. Okay. Marcus said eat fish, chicken. You're right. No issues, baggage, faulty emotional dependency, codependent. Work on issues. Yes, please, y'all. Okay, well, ladies and men, I want to thank you for joining tonight's live. Ladies, if you feel like you might match with Lamar, his DMs are open. And he said it. He's looking for his person. And women, if you like to be featured on the show where we can help find your boo, okay, by all means, y'all send me an email because I would love to feature, a beautiful woman up here, y'all. Just be open minded. Just notice comments coming in, okay, and they don't always, But I would say I think I have a good positive community because I don't put that mess out here. Yeah, we're not doing no garbage on here, and we're not being mean. We are. Oh, look at Rhonda. Thank you, girl. I appreciate
I,
that
yeah,
very much.
my, my,
You saw my bubble tea, girl. I gotta stop drinking it so goddamn much.
so,
Do.
I,
It's
so my,
no added sugar. No added
my
sugar.
big sister, I got a plug. So, we have the New You Nation. So we have Looking
Oh
for Love.
yes.
So on Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Trey's the host. I'm the co-host. It's Looking for Love Generation X. So a little plug.
Yes, and y'all have conversations about relationships,
Yeah,
right?
bridging the gap between Generation X men and women.
Okay. Absolutely. Yeah, y'all please check that out. And I'm trying to Yolanda said, thanks, V. This was very good. Looking forward to the next one. Lamar, looking forward to connecting and chatting. Oh, Yolanda said she's gonna pop in the DMs. I ain't mad at it. Girl, you better shoot your shot. Y'all, I'm gonna tell you right now. Y'all, like Lamar said, for real, life is passing us by. If you want something, go get it. Okay, period. If you want to take that trip, go take the damn trip. You want to go buy something, go buy it because life is passing. And it's going. And I talk to my daddy all the time. Like, my dad is 70, almost 76 years old, and he's like, when he turned 50, the years flew by.
Yeah, they fly.
They fly by. So get out
And
there, meet your
that's what I'm
person.
saying. Get out there, date, say hello to that person, man. Don't let it go
You
by.
too, Lamar. You get out there and speak. You see
I,
you see me in the grocery store, and I'm picking up
I,
some
I don't.
cucumbers.
You know what? I've never done that. I've never spoken to like a
Go to the
woman.
grocery store. You talking about go to the gym?
I
Y'all go
wouldn't.
to
I don't
Target.
do the
No,
gym. I
not
don't do the
Target. Don't
gym
go to
thing
Target,
because,
y'all.
if I go to the gym, I don't date people at the gym because if it don't work
You just
out,
said me people in the gym. Hold
man,
on
go
now.
to another gym. Don't go to your home gym. Like you
You
go to.
just said me
Because I don't
people
like,
in the damn
because
gym.
I heard some horror stories. I know some guys that dated a couple of chicks at the gym and it don't work out, and now you guys see each other because y'all still go to the gym. So I was like, I don't know.
Damn if you do, damn if you don't.
Go to another
Like,
gym. Go to another gym. Join 2 gyms and then just kind of rotate between.
can't go. Ladies, look, I'm gonna say men too. You see something, give them a compliment. You can always start with a compliment. You don't have to go up to somebody and say, would you like to have dinner tonight? You can always say, you know what, I really like your beard. It looks really soft or well maintained, right? Y'all give compliments. I give compliments all the time, and there's nothing wrong with it. Okay, just be polite, okay, if you're not interested. Thank you, Rhonda. I appreciate that. Yes, Steph, I'm telling you, time ain't waiting for not a single one of us. Love y'all. Thanks for the advice. He said he on mile number 2. Okay, Cedric is on
Okay,
mile number 2. Yeah, you can do it, boo. You
you
keep
can
it
do it,
up.
man. Listen. for anybody out there, men or women, if you're depressed, go to the gym. If the gym cures so many things because endorphins get released, the confidence. It's just, I'm telling you, it is the greatest thing you can do for yourself is to invest in your future self wants you to. That's what I'll tell you.
Okay. Well, I thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'm gonna look forward to some women y'all hitting me up and say, "V, we want to be on there." Yes, and we are rooting for you, boo. You work out. Yep, you definitely work out. So, all right, Lamar, I want to thank you for joining tonight.
Thank you.
And I hope
Thank
your
you for having me.
DMs blow up, hon, with your handsome self. Again, if you're listening to me on my podcast, y'all come on over to YouTube so you can see how fine this brother is. All right. Thank you. Y'all have a great rest of your Juneteenth, and we will talk to you later. Thank you.
Thank you.